There are relationships between a lot of different objects and things in the world, but location is something that ties a lot of these aspects together.
The volumes, the velocity, the variety of information that's coming at us, whether or not it would be in the classical definition of big data, it's impacting you for sure. And so we need tools and methodologies to deal with that in a more effective way.
We had a match rate of around 50% before. And people were accustomed to understanding that, roughly half the deals will get the property. The other half, well, they're going to go the manual route anyway, so they're going to go to an appraiser, they're going to get physically inspected. That takes time and money. So simply by saying, you know what, guys, we're going to be able to move this needle, basically up 50%, was enough to get people excited.
About 70% of our addresses aren't where we deliver to. Most of our truck traffic is through the back alleyways. We deliver to the back door, but also our building location, our asset location being 1 kilometer off optimum can mean millions and millions of dollars over a period of years.
So we spend actually a lot of time with using address as a key to determine is this person real or not real. We're tracking returned email, returned physical mail, and flagging it and trying to find out where people moved and trying to track where they've been. So I think those are some of the areas where it impacts us.
Not only just the address, so if I just specifically look at the address, we would take notice of assessment, letters of employment, mortgage statements, utility statements. So it really that we look at taking physical address to pick up relationship.
The thing that's so amazing about location is all of a sudden, it in theory takes the person out of it, but it's pretty easy to put the person right back in. And so you're being able to draw some really interesting conclusions, but at least you're not having to share Steve Hayward at this address. You're just sharing this address.
And when you start to talk about real economics of location data, it requires a sharing and a common currency. Something other than the crazy addresses that we encounter every day. So getting to that point where we're all talking that one language, I think is certainly a goal for us as a future.
The government would give you what was going on in a parcel. It was almost impossible to match their policy data with actually the information, and being able to actually get credible sources that then you can actually do that overlay on is really difficult.
The issue isn't a lack of indexes, a lack of methods of referencing and stuff. There's just, as you were saying, there's far too many. And the other problem with pretty much all of them out there is that they're operationally biased. They're created for a specific purpose. They're optimized for that purpose, and then they don't work very well for other things.
A building that might have been owned as a local location, what could be called the location of the building, or 5 other uses of the building, and you overlay 600 years of evolution on top of that, and the old addresses are still relevant. And so you have a complexity that quickly sort of engulfs you.
FCT represents a broad spectrum of services, and if you use the metaphor of putting things on top of each other, different lines of businesses, the different products that we offer, being able to use the address as a primary key. And so part of that is driving value to not only our internal needs, but also to our external partners and customers on being able to do something with that information.
There are different dimensions, ways of chopping the data up and using it effectively. One of the key tools is location again. So where things happen says a lot about what they are and how relevant they are and how connected they are.
Well, that's great. I hope we can continue the dialogue and questions. Feel free to talk to me or John if you have any questions, or more importantly, talk to each other about what you've learned. Thanks again for your open and active discussion today.
And thanks to Tony for facilitating.
Well,